What's up guys? How's a crack-a-lackin'? Welcome back to making Newcrest magical with a series on my channel that I'm calling Sho Challenges, where I challenge myself to do weird and wacky things within games just for your entertainment. For anyone joining us new here, I'm recreating the wizarding world of Harry Potter within The Sims 4 and placing them within the empty Sims world called Newcrest. However, I'm only using base game items and I'm only going from film version of Harry Potter characters and locations. Today I'm heading in with a double whammy, as not only are we recreating Hagrid, but we're also making Hagrid's hut in the exact same video. If you've missed any of my previous videos in this series, I will link them in the description below, and I highly suggest you go and watch them before you watch this one, just so you know where we're up to. Before I make the behemoth build of trying to recreate Hogwarts, I can't forget everyone's favourite giant, Rubeus Hagrid. Unfortunately, only using base game, I won't be able to include Fang as well. I almost cried too. We tend to see a fair bit of Hagrid's hut and Hagrid himself within the films, so I went into this being pretty confident. But without further ado, let's get to creating. First things first, giving the sim the traits of loves outdoors, loyal and goofball, I put his aspiration into nature. Even though there wasn't an animal care section, this one just felt right. I knew I wanted to have the sim as involved with animals and creatures as I possibly could, but unfortunately, without using any expansions, I wouldn't be able to include Fang along with this household. So unfortunately, it's always going to feel that little bit incomplete. But the premise is always there. When it came to outfit creating, I very quickly realised that Hagrid tends to wear very similar outfits that, realistically, are quite hard to recreate. So once again, using creative liberties, I opted to create outfits inspired by the colour scheme instead, which was mainly a lot of browns and greens. I also tried to make the sim as broad and large as I possibly could, to try and give the impression that this sim is a giant. Although, it won't really come across as much when he's interacting with the other sims because, well, sim logic. As I said, we don't really see much variation within outfit choices. Even in snowy weather, he doesn't really seem to wear a hat or a scarf. It's normally just some kind of variation of a brown jacket and either a brown or green shirt, maybe with a belt too. I tried to mix up the options as much as I could, but with the options that base game allowed, I found myself going back to the same full body outfit. Just messed around with the colours a little bit. The only kind of variation I could really include with this sim was when it came to formal, and I tried to recreate this, which in my opinion is honestly horrendous, hairy looking brown suit, which as you can probably guess, I couldn't fully recreate. Sims unfortunately don't allow this level of customization, so I had to work with an all brown suit instead, and I had to leave out the Mr. Tumble looking tie. I honestly missed the level of outfit customization that was included within The Sims 2. It would have really helped in this challenge for moments like this, and also for hair like Narcissa's to really give these characters edge and make them come alive. After recreating the character, it was time to move them into the lot next to where I planned to build Hogwarts, and I began to make Hagrid's hut. Once again, it kind of feels incomplete without Fang, but these are the limitations I have only using base game. Looking at reference pictures of Hagrid's hut, it seems like it's mainly comprised of two circles, each with their own roof. However, one is a little smaller than the other. I also think I did the standard thing of making the house a little bit too big, but I didn't realise until a little bit too late. So the end result is a little more spaced out than I originally planned it to be, but the vibes are there nonetheless. Using the terrain tool to give the ground a bit of extra wear, and adding a bunch of plants and boxes around the hut itself, it was slowly starting to come alive. I also added a ridiculous amount of trees to simulate the dark forest, and it really started looking like it was on Hogwarts school grounds. Starting on the interior, and by the look of Hagrid's hut in the films, it seems to be a fairly open plan. However, we don't see the bathroom or bedroom within the hut itself. At least I can't remember seeing it. So I made the choice to wall one room off and make it a bathroom, and include the bed within the open plan. All I knew is I wanted to add a fireplace next to a dining table, like how we saw when Norbert came into the world, and of course a window for Malfoy to sneak a look near that. But other than that, I didn't really have a plan as how I wanted the place set out. Looking at reference pictures, it all seemed pretty crowded, which, as I've already said, I couldn't really replicate due to the size I built the hut. So, apologies for that. But it was around the end of sorting the interior that I realised it may have been a bit too big, and I couldn't really sort it at that point. It can't just be me who makes Sims houses way too big, right? I tried to make the overall inside as cozy as possible, and I also added a few homemade looking items. Hagrid himself seems like the kind of guy who builds things for himself, so adding in a workbench into the house only just seemed fitting to me. I also added pots and pans as much as I could within the first half of the house, to replicate the multiple cages that he seems to have on the roof of his hut. I also used a cheat drawer in this build to show hidden objects. I only use base game items, but these gave me the option to use items that can be collected from around Newcrest, as I wanted to have an area in the house that was dedicated to strange and wonderful creatures that he cares for. So having tanks and containers as well as magical looking fish on the wall really made this place feel like Hagrid's. Hey, if I couldn't have Fang, this seemed like the next best option. Other than making this house insanely big for what it was, I feel like it worked out pretty okay. I feel like it's a little too big and spacey in some places, but I only realised the size issue a little too late into the build. Everything else I felt like went quite well. But as always, I want to know what you guys think. And just like that, another building and household is complete. I want to know what you guys would have done differently, if there is anything. Did I forget anything? Let me know in the comments below. I always want to know what you guys are thinking. But at least for now, we have somewhere for Hagrid to live and care for his creatures. Who or what will I make next time? Let's see if you can guess. For now though, thanks for watching, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!